If you have a laptop that tends to overheat and, God forbid, you wanted to start streaming, then a laptop cooler might be a viable choice. While there are plenty of cheap ones available, I decided to make my own. This means that you could design it to your own specific laptop as well as your own needs. So let's get started. I used a 6mm MDF board and a piece of pine. Let's measure the base of our laptop and cut the pieces to size. And maybe try to avoid the area where the sticker is. To make an angled cooler, we need to find out, well, the angle. I think this is around 4 degrees. And I'd cut this angle using a circular saw, but just use anything at your disposal. And this is what it looks like. Next is to decide where the fans go. This depends on the laptop you have and where you think would be most effective for cooling, so for mine, near the rear. And let's drill out some holes. Ideally, it should be the same diameter as your fans, and for best results, it's good to use a Forstner bit on a pillar drill. Oh dear. Yeah, let's not do that. When using machines, always wear PPE and never let your hands anywhere near spinning drill bits. So let's sand our board to prepare it for painting. I used an oil-based paint for metals and woods, but since it takes literally forever to dry, I'd recommend using a water-based one instead. The next step is to drill holes on our piece of pine for the switch and DC socket. And with a bit of modding, this is what it should look like. This is completely optional. You can make a little channel on your pine piece for your wires to go in. For this I used a router, but since not having used it in months, I went through mistakes as if I was just starting out. Oh dear. At least that's hidden from view. Let's assemble everything together. First we need to solder the DC socket to the switch. This is done by feeding the positive wire through where the switch will be, cutting it to size, and soldering the switch onto it. And after soldering leftover wire to the other side of the switch, we could now feed the whole thing in place. Okay, time to glue the piece of pine onto the board. In this case I used super glue, but PVA would have been better if I hadn't painted over the surface that I was gluing onto. If your fans came with screws, please use them, but since I lost them, I used super glue. And of course, when you glue the fans in, make sure that the wires are in the channel if you did make that. The next step is to solder the fans together. In this instance, I wired them in parallel so they each receive 12 volts, which is what they're rated for. And with a bit of heat shrink to cover the joints, the cooler is done. We just need to add some rubber feet. Or so I thought. As it turns out, I super glued the fans the wrong way around. It's very, very embarrassing, and it was actually quite a pain to get the fans off, but I'm surprised how tough they were, and I managed to hammer them out of place, and with a bit of sanding to clean up the mess, I flipped them around and used super glue again, yeah I know, to fit the fans the right way around. And here it is, a minimalist style laptop cooler. And with a power supply that is 12 volts at 0.8 amps, it provides enough power to both fans. Well, that's about it. Sure, mistakes were made, but at the very least, you now know how to make a laptop cooler, and I didn't lose my fingers. And as for its design, or how it's used, it's completely up to you. Thanks for watching, see you soon.